Having a virtual world that mimics a physical world like ours is one thing, and mimicking the physical world interactions in a virtual world is another thing. It looks like there is a new way to physically interact with virtual objects in the metaverse, all thanks to the efforts of a company based in California. With the rise in popularity of digital assets, major technology companies are working on making the much anticipated metaverse a reality. You cannot blame them because people are so excited about a completely virtual world because of its endless potential. But there is one big question. How do we even interact with the virtual world and experience those interactions through touch? Well, we have some answers for you, so make sure to stick around till the end of the video to know a lot more about how you will be able to experience what you see in a completely virtual world. When you look at history, the internet first started out as a series of technological innovations with the ability of computers to talk to each other over great distances and also hyperlink from one web page to another. But the internet has always been evolving, and it is now taking its biggest step yet. That is, to have an entirely virtual world that could, on paper, mimic the real world. Yes, we are talking about the metaverse. The technologies that are associated with the visions of building a metaverse are improving at a rapid pace. Everybody's talking about the metaverse because of two main reasons. For starters, the metaverse is a combination of two ideas: virtual reality and blockchain technology. Chances are high that you might already know about virtual reality, but blockchains can be something new for you, especially if you're not catching up with the latest crypto news or NFTs. Blockchains are comprehensive and energy-hungry technologies that made cryptocurrencies and NFTs possible. But keep in mind that this is just an oversimplified definition of what a blockchain is. NFTs are one of the most sought-out digital assets in this newly found digital space for crypto enthusiasts. So when people started getting obsessed with blockchain technology, all thanks to the current rise in interest both in NFTs and cryptocurrencies, companies are now experimenting with the newly found opportunity to create a virtual world similar to something that you would find in the movie Ready Player One, where you could have your own avatars and you can do whatever you want and be whoever you want. A virtual world like this will also mean that we will be moving away from the kind of human interactions that we're used to, which were already broken due to the rise of smartphones and social media. Today, the way we talk is different, the way we think is different, and the way we do just about everything is different, and the metaverse will take it to the next level. Now, there are so many good things about a virtual world. You no longer have to travel from one place to another to meet somebody. All you have to do is log in to your MetaVerse account, and you will enter the virtual world where you will be able to meet your friends and spend some quality time without even going out of your room. This means that cars, or just transportation in general, might become obsolete in the near future, especially personal transportation. You could also present yourself in a completely different way in your own avatar, and you can even build this new virtual world depending upon how you want it to be. This used to be a restriction in the physical world because of geographical restrictions. All the cool factors aside, there are still a few things that still need some work to make the metaverse an alternate reality to the one that we already have. There are a lot more things to worry about in a digital space than how much time we spend in it. This has to do with how we actually interact in this newly formed virtual world. You could trick your eyes and ears into thinking that you are in a new world, but you won't be able to trick your other senses, which includes taste, touch, and smell. If a virtual world cannot satisfy all your senses, then this would be one of the major limitations for a virtual world that is trying to replicate the physical world of ours. And for the most part, it will be that way for the foreseeable future. We already have tech companies like Microsoft and Meta showcasing fictionalized videos of their vision for the future, where they give a lot of focus on how people will interact with the metaverse through virtual reality technology. But virtual reality, as of now, still depends on headsets that are still very clunky, and most people tend to experience motion sickness or physical pain if they wear it for too long. Augmented reality glasses share a similar story, and people are still figuring out a way to wear them in public without looking weird. But more importantly, we don't have any mass-produced augmented reality glasses yet. Metaverse may not be able to satisfy all your senses, but it looks like Emerge, a company based in California, United States, is developing a technology that will allow people to physically feel what they're seeing in the virtual world. This means that with this technology, a virtual handshake will feel real in the metaverse, which then solves one major problem that we had with a virtual world like the metaverse. Emerge is also a World Economic Forum 2022 technology pioneer and happens to be one of the 100 startups from 30 countries that are driving innovation through cutting-edge technologies, especially when it comes to virtual reality and metaverse. Emerge describes itself as a social virtual connection company that is focusing on bringing physical touch to the metaverse. Let's say that you want to greet someone in the metaverse with a high five or even a handshake. That is now possible with this technology. This way, you'll be able to feel their hand. Another example would be when you try to pick up or hold a virtual object. You'll be able to feel and interact with that object. This alone will change the way we look at the metaverse. Now you might be thinking, how exactly does all of this work in the first place? A tabletop panel called the Emerge Wave 1 device will be using ultrasonic waves to create the sensation of touch. The panel is roughly about the size of a 13-inch laptop and will be responsible for projecting ultrasonic beams into the air above and around its surface. This way, when users hold their hands above the panel, the ultrasonic waves will map virtual objects that they can see in the virtual reality headset. This is somewhat very similar to haptic feedback technology that you get with your smartphones, which will give you the feeling of touch. Haptic feedback uses motion like vibration or shaking to stimulate touch. But in virtual reality, things are going to be different, unlike your smartphone. Emerge equipped its Wave 1 device panel with the Meta Quest 2 VR headset, something you might know as Oculus, and its hand-tracking sensors. The ultrasonic waves can reach up to 3 feet or about 0.9 meters above the panel, and it can spread about 120 degrees around it. Wait, all of this sounds too good, right? Does this mean that we finally have a chance to experience virtual things in real life? Well, yes and no. Like everything else, this technology has its own limitations. The ultrasonic waves from the Emerge Wave 1 come from one direction only, and because of this, the range of the tactile sensations it can produce is likely to be limited. This technology is still in its infancy because of the very low adoption rate, which means most apps and games don't support this technology yet. Now that brings us to the next important question. Why exactly does touch matter for the future of the metaverse? Well, if we're trying to replicate the physical world, then we also need to find a way to replicate how we feel a virtual object in the physical world. The companies working behind virtual worlds need to make sure that all the 5 human senses need to be catered to fully experience what it feels like to be in a virtual world. About 78% of people, according to a report from the National Research Group, which specializes in entertainment and technology research, stated that they missed the ability to physically touch and interact with people in the virtual world. The ability to use our bare hands to feel, interact, and physically connect with those who matter the most to us has always been a very fundamental thing of human interaction, and the same should be the case in a virtual world. Only then would a metaverse make sense. Emerge is hoping that it will be able to connect people emotionally in a very natural way, regardless of the distance. You could expect the metaverse to be the next big thing when it comes to human interaction. The interest in this virtual world is genuine because it will be creating a market worth more than $1 trillion in annual revenue. There are several companies that are now actively working on VR technology, which is positive news for the growth of metaverse, as this technology would be running the show along with blockchain technology. Metaverse will also create a huge economy for all levels of content creators, and for developers, it means another source of monetization. Maybe Facebook's rebranding to Meta might have been a huge catalyst for the popularity of metaverse, and that is a good thing because it will accelerate the growth of digital assets, blockchain technology, and virtual reality. With the huge popularity for digital assets and the metaverse, we soon will be able to feel the virtual world that we will be creating for ourselves as an alternative to the physical world that we live in.